My name is Jules, and I play Collegiate Rocket League, and I've also played Women's Rocket League. That's sort of where I started out, and I started developing my skills. And then I sort of found my footing in CRO, and now I'm going to Northwood University for Cybersecurity for my bachelor's.
What got you started in Rocket League, and why did you decide to take it so seriously?
So there's this kind of phenomenon that I've heard people talk about. It's sort of the pandemic just happened. Whenever the pandemic happened, I feel like a lot of people sort of found their sort of group or their passion or whatever. I found Rocket League. I already knew what Rocket League was, obviously, and I was grand champ or whatever, but I was just kind of whatever. I was ready to never touch it again after solo queuing there. I was this game's not worth it. And then, I was then I found the women's scene, and I was wow, this actually seems really cool. And I kind of found a community that was like me, and I was oh, this is actually pretty cool. And I started just, I was oh, and I'm all right. I'm not great, but I'm here. And I had fun just sort of reinvigorating that competitive passion that I once had in other sports, just through a video game, which is ridiculous. Felt ridiculous, but it also felt very natural as well.
And how welcoming was the community? Because sometimes we hear, some communities, depending on the video game, it can be a bit...
Yeah, the women's scene is very, very, very tiny. So it's very cliquey, but not necessarily in a bad way. Always, I think everybody's pretty accepting generally.
Do you think that's collegiate is a great stage of life to continue?
Yeah, I think no matter what level you are, you should be looking into Collegiate Rocket League. The age for Rocket League players is super young. So pro players are sometimes 15 years old now. Which is crazy. I imagine when I was doing it, 15 years old, I was not making really much money. I was not making really any money. I was going to high school. But a lot of these kids are playing Rocket League, making thousands of dollars a month. So they're technically at the age where they can drop out and they can just not go to school, which is not great. I definitely would not encourage that. Educating yourself is very important because, Rocket League is not. it's not gonna be your forever job. I mean, maybe it will if you go into content creation, but as soon as you retire, that's it. There's nothing wrong with being a content creator. It's just there's kind of a crossroads there. You either become a content creator or you just kind of fall off once you're retired. There's not really much you can do about that.
You're doing an online degree and being part of an esport program. Not many universities across the country, offer those opportunities. So how is it, to do your bachelor's degree online in cybersecurity and be part?
It's weird. It's definitely weird because whenever I told my parents, they were are you sure this is a thing? Are you sure? I'm like, yes, mom. And then everybody's what? You do that? You can get scholarships for that? I'm yeah, you can actually get full rides. It's also just very new. There's not a lot of people who even know what an esport is. They're I have to find a new way to explain Rocket League that's super simple. I usually just explain, I'm just it's just a sport, but you control the sport. It's an actual sport. The sky is a ceiling. Players are individually gifted and talented. I think I don't know what this actually looks like, but I think there is a genetic intuition to Rocket League that some people have. And that's why people are able to just literally outscale everybody else, and that's why Zen is the best. He's just naturally gifted. To learn it is easy. I mean, you can learn it, but to actually get there and be able to consistently do that takes a lot of work. And not only a lot of work, but you have to be talented and put in the work. You can't just be talented. Being talented won't really get you that far. There's plenty of people who are just talented, but they don't do anything with it.
how was the transition from in-person to online? Is it a lot of work? Is it the learning styles are different? How do you combine it?
So I grew up like traditional, like everybody sits in a classroom and the teacher teaches, and then have assignments and they like grade it there, and then you have like homework. Yeah, it was a huge change. I grew up on that, and then I went to college and I was still doing that, and then the pandemic happened and they were like, all right, here is a class. Well, some classes, my first class was just like this. It was just like a video call, and then there's like a teacher and they were like teaching. So it felt weird, but it kind of worked, I guess. And then eventually I had a class where I actually like no teacher. I mean, there was a teacher, but they were just like, if you need help, there's help, but here's the book, here's the assignments, here's when the assignments due. Do your best. No guidelines, no like, this, that, like, it was very just self-paced, and I had to learn, like, how to learn, which I think is a good thing, but also, like, it just is a lot of work. It's very difficult. Like, for me specifically, I found that it's a lot easier to, like, have, like, text-to-speech whenever I'm reading. Whenever I didn't have text-to-speech and I was just reading books, I would not have made it to where I am if I had to read that way.
How's the practice schedule?
That's difficult because everybody sort of is in full-time classes on my team, and I'm in my bachelor's and they're both doing their master's. And, we're full-time students and they also have jobs, so like, scrimming is not as important. I mean, it's important, but, like, we don't scrim every day. I think we only scrim like twice a week, 2-3 times a week on the weekends. It's just important to like make sure that time is more meaningful. So like we try not to like waste any time. As soon as we're getting it, we're usually like talking about it's like I'm usually like, oh, so I was looking at our replays, and we should try. I'm gonna try to do this. You guys should try to do that, and then we just we try to spend more time figuring stuff out like that rather than just throwing time at the game. We did pretty good. I mean, we've been scrimming against like 1,600 teams, and I mean, I'm not gonna say like we've been destroying them, but we've been destroying some 1,600 teams. So like, I don't know, it's weird. I think genuinely, like my team's around 1,700, so I think we're gonna do pretty well. So
you're enjoying the being a player, because like as a coach, I think was usually like your strength. So how was that transition?
Yeah, so I've always been a player from when I started, but I kind of quickly realized after getting some professional coaches that I was probably not gonna be the best in the world. I mean, that's okay. Not everybody can be the best of the world in something, but I knew that I could at least learn, and I also thought that there was still something to learn there, so I was like, oh, I'll just do it. I've just kind of been learning for fun, and I've just sort of tried to just focus on like coaching, because I'm definitely able to like look at like evidence, and like I have a very good eye of just like looking at something and being able to describe it very well. And also like I think I'm decent at teaching. I've been practicing a lot of teaching, so like coaching has like really helped me, not as a player but just as like I guess an asset to like a company. Like I feel like this is something that I can like say like, oh, I've had this sort of proactive learning orientation towards just learning something just because I wanted to, basically. This is an adaptation of something random. I didn't completely create this. This is like an adaptation. This is gonna sound so random. I was watching a Mario Kart 8 video, and there was someone talking about speedrunning. They're talking about something called the 4 pillars that they created. And I was like, all right, I gotta adapt this to Rocket League because it makes a lot of sense. There's just something that's missing. So we got knowledge. So that's anything that you know about like whatever you're learning. Then you got consistency. So that's how effectively you can do whatever it is. Then you got time. That's how much time you spend. And then the 4th pillar that I sort of added on there was fun. Because if you're not having fun, those 3 things aren't happening. I mean, if you look at like, especially like the best like Rocket League players, I mean, Zen owned gold, and then he owned gold at Worlds, and then you know what he did? He laughed. I mean, imagine if he got down on himself and then just started throwing. You know what I mean? Having fun and accepting mistakes for what they are, it's just a mistake. It's what you do afterwards is what matters. That's pretty much all that is there.
How would like a weekly training schedule, with a player look like?
A lot of my coaching is around just teaching players how to coach themselves, rather than like saying, go for a flip reset here, go for this there, go for that. I'm trying to get them to be able to teach themselves and be able to like improve themselves, because whenever you only see someone for an hour, there's only so much I could realistically give to them in an hour anyways. So I feel like by doing that, I would be doing a disservice anyways. By teaching someone to teach themselves, I'm able to basically just get them to a point where they can figure it out for themselves, and then they can improve.
You think esports like motivating you to continue with your studies?
I feel like this could definitely be different for other people, but for me, I was already wanted to go back to school. This was just sort of like a way for me to like get there. And like I knew that there was already opportunities, and I was kind of like, well, if I get good enough at Rocket League and I finish my associates, I could probably find something decent. Because I'm not gonna lie, a lot of schools wanted my SATs. I did not do well in the SATs. I'm not very good at tests, but I get good grades though. So like I don't know. Yeah. So like I just knew that through esports I could definitely like be able to find something that was actually fun and I enjoyed, and I could like get like a potential like good like academic opportunity too, right? So like not only am I gonna be able to be like, oh, I play Rocket League on Thursdays, oh that's fun, but like I can like get a degree out of this like afterwards.
Once you graduate, do you want to build forward?
I'm definitely not leaving Rocket League anytime soon. I'm still working on things every day. I don't know if I could. I've tried to do the whole streaming thing. That's not my thing. I'm trying to do YouTube videos. I'm also working on like a few projects. So like the one project is like I'm working on like understanding AI, and I want to like I don't even know. Like I want to learn how to like hone my competitive efficiency with AI, basically. Just figure out like what mistakes are happening when every game from game to game, because there's not really like a software that does that. There's software that like they have that they're like, oh, like here's your statistics, here's what's wrong, but like they're not always useful. Computers are dumb. Like I don't like the way that computers work is not good. They use ones and zeros. So literally everything that you do is like an approximation. There's no actual like, so like mathematically it's never gonna, it can only be so good. That's why like they're building like these giant computers to like build this AI. It's the computer is very slow. It's kind of like if you look back in history, it's like, oh, look at these crazy pictures of like the computers with like the vacuum tubes. Like that's yeah, that's kind of what's happening here. It's like we're like, oh, we don't have the actual technology to do this, so we're just gonna build more of it.
What is like one recommendation that you would give them for those that are thinking to jump into collegiate and stand out?
Yeah, I would say definitely look into CRL. I mean, if you're a Rocket League player, I mean, I think it just makes sense. Why not further your education and keep doing what you're doing? I mean, you can get money from it if you're good enough. I mean, I'm not good enough, but you might be. But I mean, if not, does it matter? You're getting a degree out of it. It's not like you're not getting anything out of it. You're getting a good education, and you're gonna be able to actually, if this whole Rocket League thing doesn't work out for you, you can be like, oh, I can go do this. And there you go. You have a way to make money, and you're not just like, oh, I have no high school diploma or I have no college education. Because I can tell you I had an associate's and I was trying to find a job. I could not find a job. I applied to so many jobs, and it was hard to find really anything. It's really, really hard out there. So like having a degree is pretty much necessary at this point.